Dawson, it's go time.
All right. Finally, I think we finally figured out what we are been trying to do for the past couple of minutes here. But I want to thank you all again for tuning in. I think we are finally live here. So again, I want to welcome everybody for coming out tonight and being here with us here at the Indigenous Peoples Art Gallery and Cafe. I want to thank you all for tuning in. My name is Dawson Davenport, your host for the evening. And I'm also the owner and creator of the Indigenous Peoples Art Gallery and Cafe, and also the creator of this stay-at-home poetry series. We hope that in light of what is going on with the COVID-19 pandemic, that this stay-at-home live virtual poetry reading series will provide some entertainment, as we want to promote the message and idea of staying home. It is important that we protect our elders and young children. By staying home, we are doing that, and we are also helping protect those on the front lines, the essential workers, and particularly the healthcare workers. So tonight we dedicate this event to them because we believe that by taking action such as staying home, we are doing our part and flattening the curve. So again, this is a first time doing something like this. This is the first time that I put something together like this. A little history about the art gallery and the vision that I had for what we're here for tonight. This idea started over a little over a year ago, where I was thinking about what I wanted to do after I had graduated from the University of Iowa. I always liked promoting art and artists, and found a little spot in Iowa City where I could do that. And because I was already doing events and hosting things around the city, it made sense to find a place of my own to showcase Indigenous artists exclusively. I also had been doing a lot of educating around Iowa City and Iowa about Native people, and particularly my tribe, the Meskwaki people, and just found that, I loved what I was doing. And so it just made sense to put it all together and in one space, which is the Indigenous Peoples Art Gallery and Cafe. So be sure to share and tell your friends to like and support the page. So with the current situation and the uncertain time frame, we wanted to uh, provide some kind of entertainment, with what's going on and everything that's taking place with the pandemic. Not knowing what's really going on, we wanted to kind of put something together and use what's going on with all the artists using social media, a virtual space to showcase our artwork. And so that's what I wanted to do tonight. And so I put together some great young Indigenous artists to do our poetry and provide some music for you tonight. So with that, the goal and idea I had in mind is to just provide that platform and to provide some, some edutainment while we are going through this pandemic. And I thank you all again for tuning in tonight. Real quick, we're gonna Sarah, I think we're gonna come to you and kind of introduce yourself a little bit and talk about tonight's event where we are partnered with the Midwest Writing Center. So if you could just a little bit talk a little bit about what that is.
Yeah, hey, thank you, Dawson. My name is Sarah Elgatian. I work for the Midwest Writing Center, which is based in Rock Island, Illinois, but provides writing services throughout the Midwest, primarily Iowa, Illinois, Wisconsin, and Minnesota. But as something titled Midwest Writing Center, the goal is to reach the Midwest. During during the shutdown, the pandemic, we are trying really hard to work with as many artists as possible and get all of those names out there, and help people get to work on their craft, whatever that craft may be, because while it's really, really hard and we're sort of definitely anti all the productivity posts that everybody's all about right now, like you need to be learning a language, whatever. We're not into that, but like any way that we can help people get some progress on their art or get inspired to keep creating, since we do finally have time, regardless of how stressful it is. That's what we want to do. So you can find us, of course, on Facebook, Midwest Writing Center, or Instagram is NWC, that's M for Midwest, WC _QC. Or Twitter is MWC _Write, WRITE. We're super excited to partner with you, Dawson, with the Indigenous Peoples Art Gallery and Cafe, and want to keep doing this, especially as long as we're all stuck inside.
All right. Thank you, Sarah, for that. And thank you again to the Midwest Writing Center for being there and helping us do this tonight. So with that, I want to get into our event tonight and get into some poetry. First, I'm gonna read something I had wrote just today or the past couple of days. Some fresh new stuff that I had been kind of putting together here for some of these events that we've been doing. Again, be sure to like the page, be sure to share it with your friends, because we got a lot more events coming up in the future. And so want everybody to be updated on that. All right, so this first poem that I had written has no title. I will burn and scold your hand if you try to reach and grab the kettle without any gloves. My language is the fire, the flames, lit in algorithm, done for the love. With the utmost care and delicacy, I will infest your village with black books and invade your souls with the sickness of knowledge bestowed by centuries burned in snow and caves and hidden away as the group of people fled to escape. The corn and tobacco they kept with their loved ones while their loved ones died, hidden in bundles painted inside a 1 terabyte memory card. I will burn you with my flammable language, reds, oranges, yellows, and blues. The most deadly when used is the native whose crushed concrete canvases catastrophes called upon by collusive CEOs. A language so vicious, you'll sell your land or give me the deed to your children. I will burn you like a dandelion rubbed against your skin under the sun. So that was the poem that I just wrote up over the past couple of days. It had been a while since I had really wrote anything. And so I really wanted to just kind of put out some fresh material. We're gonna get into our first featured reader who was kind of added here recently. We are very great and honored to have her here as part of this event. She comes all the way from the Southwest, I believe. So I want to introduce our first reader, Valerie Jackson. She's the mother of 2 sons and has 5 grandchildren. She is a word warrior from the Crow Reservation in Montana. Valerie holds a Bachelor of Liberal Arts degree from Arizona State University and a culinary certificate from Scottsdale Community College. Valerie writes poetry and is currently working on a memoir titled Of Blue Rock and Cloud. Lately, though, she is a bread maker and all-around uh, chief cook and bottle washer in her apartment community, feeding various neighbors and making masks. So without further ado, I introduce Valerie Jackson.
Thank you. It's good to see all of you. With our technical difficulties, I think we've gotten it now. So I'd like to read you a poem called Rebirth. Dancing sparks from burning ironwood rush up, great stars in a clear night sky. Rocks awake and speak in flaming fire tongues. We, the pitiful children of our Earth Mother, crawl naked on hands and knees back into her dark womb. Brilliant sacred stones carefully placed with white deer antlers at each direction in the center pit. Gourd Dipper's gift of water hit white hot rocks with a spit and hiss, our prayers sent upward on clouds of fragrant steam. Ancient grandfather's glowing life transformed cedar and sage, purifying deeply with every breath, every bead of sweat. We seek birth within the protection of her sacred circle, offer blessed tobacco, prayers of thanks. Time has come for us to be reborn in close confinement within our mother's ribs. In tight skin we kick, wanting breath, but sad to leave her sacred circle. We crawl again on hands and knees to emerge, stand, blink and breathe as cool night rushes to hold us in windy arms. We are the children of our Earth Mother reborn. She delivers us into the world, another chance to walk the good path of our ancestors. The second one is called Sundance. And this is part of the religion that I follow and my family follows. My grandfather was a Sundance chief of the Crow. Sundance. My mind tries to convince me I do not remember ancient ceremony. The drum starts, voices begin to sing, my blood pulses, my heart and the drum beat in unison. Voices repeated in my head saying, you do not belong here, fade away. When women sing an octave higher behind the men in the drum circle, the gap that has grown between this world and me closes. Barefooted, we run toward the center pole and bounce step back. The wing bone whistle in my teeth screams eagle's voice. My heart understands the ways of a culture and a language my tongue cannot speak. I am home. The last piece I'm going to read you is the title of my memoir, Of Blue Rock and Cloud. A white snowflake lands on my face and melts away. On the distant southern horizon, beneath a layer of white clouds, blue layered on blue, snow-blanketed mountains dreaming of spring. Chokecherry branches, naked of their green finery, reach dry black arms skyward. Box elder seed pods rustle in the wind. Puffy chickadees take flight from barbed wire fence. Magpies and crows yakety yak, arguing for a piece of whitetail remains. Longing for Montana brings tears from deep inside me, for my father's cowboy hat cocked just so, a Marlboro clenched in sturdy teeth, grandfather's dimpled smile and gentle gray blue eyes, grandmother's deep-throated laugh as she told stories seated in her buffalo robe chair, and Mountain Bluebird, my mother, matriarch. Has the mountain crow in me, the civilized, book-educated city dweller I have become, left behind the old ways to become only a shadow of blue rock and cloud? Thank you.
All right, thank you, Valerie. That was pretty dope. Um, Again, man, it's pretty awesome to be here and to bring us all together and to be able to provide this poetry from all different aspects and perspectives of life. It's pretty dope. So I'm very, very fortunate to be able to bring this forth for everybody. It's really awesome. Again, I thank you all for tuning in. If you're just now tuning into the page, to the live stream, this is Indigenous Peoples Gallery and Cafe Art Stay Home Poetry Reading Series. We're partnered here with Midwest Writing Center, and that's going to be our next reader. So if y'all put your hands together at home for our next reader, Sarah.
Thanks, Dawson. I'm going to read prose, but it's pretty short, so just bear with me. This piece is called Central Standard Time. According to Google Maps, I would ride my 10-speed trek 3.3 miles to your house every day when I lived at home. Life was such hell back then, remember, because I had to balance work and my parents and my time with you. We had that first fight because we'd never talked to exes before, and I couldn't lie to you. But then you stormed through abandoned backyards and neighborhoods that should be abandoned, so I cried and tried to follow you, but that part of town was unfamiliar to me, and I was so stressed over it that I knew I would lose you if I tried to keep up. I couldn't afford to lose you. So I went back to your place, and when you showed up, it turned out that you were just as scared as I was of the whole situation, and we figured out that we weren't perfect. So I left. We would never be perfect, and I knew that if I didn't leave then, I never would, and I wanted something populated and vibrant, and according to Google Maps, there are 1,911 miles between my place and yours. Yesterday, there was nothing but distance between us. Yesterday, that was okay. But then a skinny white boy from the west side with dirt on his face and brass on his knuckles punched a few times to see if I was listening. I wasn't listening. I had no intention of listening. I left that life behind me when I filled 2 suitcases with clothes and closed my eyes. I packed those bags myself and walked intentionally away from that place that never should have been. That white kid with his brass knuckles had a name. He probably has a face and a story too, but he didn't really matter until those brass knuckles punched and punched until they got through to me. This is the real world, babe. So 1.7 miles from your mom's house and 0.8 miles from your new place, you stabbed your brand new trench knife into his chest 4 times because he wouldn't stop hitting, and I had forgotten this life. I forgot those empty streets and the violence that starts when it's after 2 and there's no more booze and you've spent too much time inside because of a record snowfall and your friend makes you get out of bed to go stop a fight and suddenly the person who introduced me to peace is holding a bloody knife and it's not just a pocket knife held up to a creep's throat as a threat to get him to take his hands off me. This time it's for real and the guy shouts and now you're a felon. And now you're back in my life and I have my grip on our relationship so tight that my hand is cramping because if I let go, there's no telling whether you'll ever be safe. So there's this piece of me that I threw away when I hopped out on a plane out of Central Standard Time. And that piece of me knew how to react to this overexposed photo of you with the blank look of a criminal on your face and your head pressed up against a board counting off 70 inches behind you. Instead, I just stare, unsure of the reality inside this photograph. It looks like a soulless version of the guy who begged me to stay home in the roach-infested house neither of us could afford because he was too afraid to lose our love. It's a felony, stabbing someone, and I won't be any closer if you're taken away. I won't be able to protect you or tell myself you're all right. I'll probably just sit here like I do now, staring at the 2,043 miles on Google Maps because prisons aren't shown on Street View. But they wouldn't lock you up. They wouldn't break this grip I've reattached to you just to uphold a law. Laws take so little into account. They don't care that you were trying to keep brass knuckles from killing a friend. The law doesn't care that your eyes are like Koli or that you love with your muscles. The law doesn't care that it could break a boy who would otherwise play a role in the saving of something. The law doesn't care that I love you every day from 1,911 miles away, or that I won't survive your incarceration.
Thank you, Sarah. That was pretty dope. This is pretty dope. I'm really it's pretty cool first time doing this. And like, again, man, it's really awesome to be a part of this this new thing that I'm trying to present here to all of you. And again, I want to thank you all for tuning in tonight for this first ever stay home poetry reading series. Again, it's very important that we do our part by staying home and supporting those on the front lines by doing that. You know, it's very uncertain what we're going through. We're all in this together. We're all trying to do our part. And as artists, you know, I feel it's very important that we do this as what we have the gift of doing, which is presenting our art and sharing our work. So I want to just again thank you all for tuning in tonight. And with that, what do we got? Yeah, we're gonna I'm gonna bring in our next reader. I think we're ready for Talon. Talon Bazille is a friend of mine. He's very honored and privileged to have him here tonight. He's a rap artist and poet from the Crow Creek and Dakota and Cheyenne River Lakota tribes in South Dakota. Talon is an alum from the University of Pennsylvania, and his work largely stems from an amalgamation of experiences and reflections that influence his sound. Bazille currently works as a academic talent search advisor for the TRIO program in Crow Creek Tribal Schools. He's also the head of the Wanahan Wastay Studios, a free recording studio in the Crow Creek area. This studio was recently supported and funded by the First Peoples Fund when Bazille received a Cultural Capital Fellowship. In collaboration, DCM Collective, Panoramic Dreams, and First Peoples Fund, Bazille is currently anticipating his next album, a 3-part project entitled Traveling the Multiverse with Iktome, released to be announced. So with that, I introduce Bazille.
Hello, everyone. I'm just going to go ahead. I think I have maybe 5, but definitely 4 poems to read for you tonight. This first one is from 2015. It's called Contradiction. Ghoul or human, divide my X-Men hybridity and recognize the allegory of my inner competition. Reptilian skin flakes as my patience shakes past points of proper control and reactionary professionalism. Imagine, if you will, a mission you have chased and morals that you've abided by for longer than you've lived, consistently combated by the justified ignorance of a free past dedicated to the membership of your identity. I want to be regarded and referred to not for the color of my skin, even when that referral refers to something relevant towards that, because ironically so, we have the compatibility to counter our own counters, from tribal rights to civil rights protest counters, no blank allowed. Then allow my being to not simply be etched into being by the stencil you knew too easily based on sheltered stupidity and uncomfortable head nods. Because even my own community watches my every move and can shake their head in disapproval, disbelief, grief-stricken, grief-given out to those who chose a separate path or one that hasn't already been laid out by colonized propriety. For some reason, I am to be a black and white photo with tattered clothes, oiled braids, and beaded regalia in order to be legitimate. Or I am to be a well-tailored, sharp-dressed man, ties and all, in order to even convince a non-legitimate source of my own credibility. Despite the facts that I grew where I grew, and I saw grass treated with water and flame alike, I myself rose to the occasions that they spoke of in realistic fictionary tales on camera and in anthological studies who only wanted to press and not to benefit the rest of us. So in that sense, They too overlooked our baggy jeans, sneaker kicking youth in order to better blur our faces to show a more dramatic story. Set to the sights of a fascinating unknown distant from what was, it's in return weird to see my uncles dressed in Tupac shirts airbrushed in memorialist waves while drumming on an elk hide and continuing our ways. For them, it's weird that many cut hair short without Christian or Catholic dormitory fornication and denied historical acts of child-aimed genocidal violence. We can't just be anymore. Without context, we are forced into a nature that denies our individuality and instead confronts only our collectivist aspects due to the generalizing spectrum of the untrained American eye. We are stripped of our complexities and beautiful contradictions only to become contradictions that suffice a comfortable viewing by mainstream media. The contradiction is that you want us to be real, never realizing that what you had was true, not just the truth that you fantasized and dreamed about. The truth was never supposed to be easy. Any one of our children knows that lesson, swallowing American medicine with each passing year of development. And I have another one here from 2015, and it is called Don't Even Know. So, by ear, by experience, wing it, fly away without worry of what knob does what. Learning as I go, I never knew much. All I knew was that I just had to. I took off with palms damp. Experts critiqued every step, but who would have known I'd learn more from those who never even gave direction? I know no vocal exercises. The language of chord progression is mostly foreign in my tongue. I know nothing of structure, but my pen stays inbound where it feels right to. Write two sentences with sources wrongly cited, but the heart there passionate enough to remind you where it came from. Henceforth, I walk into this booth, who knows what chords do what chords do what, analog, digital, vocal, melodic, harmonic, dissonant. My self-nurtured dialect sits itself down on chaste chairs, coasted in faux leather, waiting to support another unfiltered dream cultivated in poem and song. My fingers reach for unknown keys and unintelligible breakbeats. My mouth opens and I am free. So those are older ones that I just never got to read, and I kind of wanted to. As Dawson talked about before, I'm also a rapper. I make music under Bazille. Recently under a residency sponsored by First People's Fund. I went to DCM Collective in Spokane, Washington with Just James and their whole crew, Panoramic Dreams, and we recorded an album series, a 3-part series called Traveling the Multiverse with Iktomi. And it talks a lot about Iktomi in today's life and in the life that each of us knew from our own walks, our own multiverses, our own universes. And this is a song that I wrote. It's my solo on the first album, and it's called Tears of a Clown. So this is a rap, so it's gonna be a little different. Repurpose, resurface. I take a swig and watch my life seem mergent. I take a drag and watch my mind deter it. I take a call and it might seem worthless, but hits to the heart gon' fill my bed, and hits to the lung gon' fill my head. Only feel alive when I feel so dead. I skip meals and I think instead. Pray deep, I just need my set. Pray deep for my once were friends. Pray deep for these kids in tests that them all gotta face. Why can't I pretend like they don't see mommy? All night zombie, night of the living dead, just breathe calmly. Talk back to this buster with a knife piece on me, but only if the fists don't solve the problem. You know I caused them. Pray to God, send me ahead just to rip one off, cause ain't nothing working, how could I be wrong? When I know you're hearing every goddamn song. I ain't felt much in so damn long. I ain't need help, I just need these songs filled with the psalms that my palms dreamed of. But now I'm all alone and I just need blood. But now I'm all alone and I just need love. Matured around thugs, I must be one. Screw up amongst the best so I can't detest. 51 bad nation till the death. Down the brand right now or after the sesh. Flip a mid hit, no taking a breath. 20 on the plane to Philly, planning my return. Before I seen the show, I had known of Heisenberg. Before the snow was blizzarding like how it is today. Cause honestly, this life has kinda always been this way. Praying for the demons to relinquish every soul, knowing damn well that that soul could be my own. Holding on this phone, welcome to my quaint abode. Sorry, this whole place a mess, it's disrespect, I know. But we ain't got the time to clean this home before you showed. Cause auntie had just died last night, that's just what I was told. Holding on this phone, shaky, let me show you round. This my younger cousin's room, he's always sleeping now. Back when he was still alive, we would be in town, messing with each other all the time, just teasing around. I see my older brother and he's always grieving now. Sometimes he cries to me, we need each other now. Always been that way, so till the death I'll hold him down. Now walk this way, there's just a couple rooms up in this house. Sorry for the bags, I'm just used to moving out. Sorry for the dents that I had left upon the couch. I've been surfing crazy and it isn't even summer. Pipe dreaming, heavy scheming, I ain't even plumber. Still get down and dirty just to maintain all my numbers. Cause poverty taught me to be a budget boy wonder. Had me feeling superhuman back when I was younger. Had my friends believing that I ain't know the hunger. That's why these ones that scheme on me can't dangle chains in front of me. I ain't carry nothing on me, not ever what they wanna be. What they wanna be. Never what they want to be. It take a whole lot to ever really get one over me, especially the older me, especially the sober me. Drowning in pollution, I was dreaming of a thunder. Had me feeling like I wasn't getting any younger. So when times when I was high, I couldn't get much drunker. I was typing up a plan just to be back on my land. Fuck all my post-traumatic memories that jammed. A once was open door between me and my fam. I could step up in the club and spend at least $1,000, but still feel like I'm just another pebble in the sand. The thunder chased me home. I know I needed that. My friends need reality. I'm truly bleeding that. Embarked on this road, now there's never going back. The longer my head gets shows how far I am from that. First step, last step, to me they're both the same. Either one could be considered happiness or pain. Might become a superstar, stray away from fame. Community means more to me than growing any name. I just want a memory of me to never fade. Learn tricks of the trade through my successes and mistakes. Always be a real one, don't settle for the fake. No matter how you try, you can't run away from fate. I cried a lot for Zane, I cried a lot for Wake. So saying this doesn't really feel like a mistake. The sacrifices and success have both taken a toll. Counted many cool and I never ever stole. And I don't think that I could ever let go of my soul. I tried so many times, I know Creator knows. But I'm just here just trying to live and do this for my home. Feel a goal in my hole, for the res I will grow. And that's on the first of the Iktomi albums. This next one is a new one. And the last one is a new one. I'll get through these real quick. This is called Hope in a Big Mac. For years and what felt like eons, I have felt alone. Until Tony among friends gave me knowledge to take home. He said, watch that documentary Rumble. What I'm telling you is true. For this documentary features artists just like you, native to the bone. And what is not largely known is that they were some of the most iconic artists the world would ever know. I am not alone. My art is native, not because I make it that way, but because my way is that way. And I can divert from painting my sonic canvas using only black, white, red, and yellow colors because my vision takes a journey full of more spectrums with Hendrix in the mind. Buddy Red Bull passion as I speak my every line. Acid tab bandana on my forehead. This is my quartet. My veins consist of ancient memories many would rather forget. But my protest is that neither reason used is worth the loss of a format. But the sounds are my Rorschach. I search for every corpse as if they were doormats, shouting welcome. Our victories and losses have fertilized your sanctum. We are still here to pray, so pray pray the Creator and thank Him. There are many problems in this world, and time has rearranged them. Do not nestle fear as if it could ever place you into make-believe safety, either mentally or in the nature of the physical world, because your spirit is the most important thing to protect on this earth. Say word, and we will be there to help shield you. So never be afraid to show this country the real you. Never allow evolved oppression conceal you. Instead, look back on our tears and shed yours to help heal you. Walk with love in your heart, no matter how much they ill you. Forever offer blessings even when they tried to kill you. For you will both be in the next, even when death is the next step. And you'll find that all the time was merely seconds that you have spent compared to the marathon of equality that exists within the cosmos. May you order peace into your life, and may it be as easy as ordering a fast food combo. Okay, last one, and this one's written. I'm sorry, I talk a lot. This is all just brain vomit. This doesn't have a title. It was made last September. Salted river water runs down prairie draws and fills crevices pigmented with ancestral hues from earth to paper. Shaved wood gathers in piles adjacently, sleeping amongst the embers of yesterday and tomorrow, as blood boils throughout leaves scribed until soaked to mush. Justifiable rage bubbles as the babbling sounds sonically cradle anxious cries. So too does it douse the flames that would otherwise threaten an already smoldering sociological rainforest. Amazing how a blindfolded balance could be distorted with delusions that last generations and more, until magicians can run rampant within a circuit board of tricks, reprogramming digital realities inside a once analog fluent world. Our sockets used to be sold separately when compliance involved consent, and a freedom I've never known ensured and ushered us of our safety, our respect, our love, and our unconfined ways. Thank you, and thank you, Dawson, for inviting me.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. What do you think, people? That was pretty dope, right? So again, thank you, Talon, for your beautiful words. It's always been something I wanted to do, was for you to showcase your words. So again, thank you all. Thank you all for tuning in. If you're just now getting on, we are doing this to kind of promote the message of staying home. So you're tuned into the Stay Home Poetry Reading Series. Again, I want to thank everybody for being a part of this, and for Midwest Writing Center for being a partner with this. And so again, we had a great lineup. We have a great lineup for you tonight, and we want to continue to keep doing this. So if you would share with your friends and your relatives, and tell them to subscribe to the page, to like the page, and stay tuned for more events we got coming from the Indigenous Peoples Art Gallery and Cafe. Before we get into our next reader, I want to kind of read a little poem that I had written just before we got this event going. Just a real quick little poem I wrote. Not all natives wear headdresses. Some of us rock new era fitteds, slanted with a twist. Not all natives live in teepees. Some of us live in two-story castles with big screen TVs. Not all natives are drunks. Well, some of us were when we were little punks. Some of us has growed up out of that funk. My point is, it don't matter the hat or the trap or the past. Move like you know that the ancestors got your back. Because we all float towards the ocean. Might as well just cruise along the banks, coasting. All right. So again, I want to thank you all for tuning in. be sure you share this with your friends and relatives, and let everybody know that we're going to be bringing you some more events live from the Indigenous Peoples Gallery and Cafe. I want to bring up my next reader, another good friend of mine. Cinnamon Spear Kills First is a word warrior from the Northern Cheyenne Reservation in Montana. She holds a master's in liberal studies from Dartmouth College and received her MFA from the Iowa Writers Workshop, Go Hawks, last year. She's a writer, filmmaker, and traditional beadworker, but her latest passion is studying under a master trauma healer. Cinnamon is currently based out of Portland, Oregon, where she is launching her own business to support her independent work. So, ladies and gentlemen, I introduce Cinnamon.
My name is Cinnamon. My Cheyenne name is Little Woman. I'm Northern Cheyenne. I want to first speak my language as a way to decolonize space, even this digital space that we've created here. I think it's important to bring our Indigenous language in and share that with anyone who's watching and anyone who watches this in the future. Like Dawson said, my name again is Cinnamon Spear Kills First. I pulled a number of poems to share with you guys today, and I didn't really realize in doing so that they're almost a chronology of like Native studies or like Indian history in this country. So the first one I want to share is called January 9th, 1879. I titled it The Date of the Fort Robinson Outbreak that my ancestors took part in. I wrote this poem in honor of them. And if that event didn't occur in history, then we might not have our homelands that are recognized in Montana today. So this sacrifice that they put forth, it was essential for us to have a home today, our homelands. So this poem is called January 9th, 1879. My ears have heard the stories. Cheyenne spirit knows the pain. Forced removal from homelands, government imposed imprisonment. Our chief said, I do not want blood spilt about this agency. If you send your soldiers, first, let me get a distance away. No more spinning in a single ray of sunlight for warmth, scraping frost off windows for water, eating leather moccasins for food. Melodic voices fill locked wooden barracks, suicide songs, our journey song. Freeze, starve, die, imprisoned, or fight. Middle of the night. Stars witness dark escape. Run. Don't look, don't stop, run home. Glass shatters. Windows birth women and children, trained not to cry. Rifles sound. Fresh blood, white snow, death on a doorstep. Fleeing for the future, each footstep etches freedom. Lovers cornered, almost captured. You shall not be taken south, as he plunges knife into wife's chest. Headshot, both saved from surrender. Children hide in the last hole, for all were shot, point blank. Youngest, 2 years old. But as you hear this history, my heart beats this history. And as you walk this earth, we walk this hurt. So please remember, we will never forget. So that's one. The next poem is about this very sticky, messy subject of blood quantum. This poem is titled Blood. So you would deny yourself your heart if you fell in love with a non-native? Well, yes, I'd have to. Not for me, but for my unborn babies. And their babies, who will grow to be women, and two will have to choose. These numbers, 5 30 seconds, 7 30 seconds, fail to sing the songs, to speak the language. These numbers, 35 64ths, 53 64ths, fail to reflect our hearts, to capture our essence. They are white forced dilution. We must do fractions before we multiply. Calculate the blood of your grandchildren's children. Selfishness doubles the weight of your daughter's burden. It's not about race. It's about legality, a right to the roll, a right to the land. Native hearts torn, blood, love or legitimacy, passion or preservation. We must choose because these numbers fail. Then this poem is a little bit lengthier. So we kind of covered how my people were free and then in prison, no longer free, had this colonial system of blood quantum put upon us, and then forced to reservations, with all that historical trauma that then occurs after people are facing genocide and trying to survive by all means necessary. Then you get households that look like the one I grew up in. So this poem is titled Scene. That's my brother's name. And it goes like this. This poem is for my brother who taught me that G.I. Joes and Hot Wheels were much, much cooler than Barbies. And rolling down the stairs is okay and rolling down the stairs in a cardboard box is okay if first you stuff it with sleeping bags. You know, I have a slight obsession for left-handers because of you and the way your chubby left hand could create art, design beyond what my mind could conjure. But I cannot stand those who chew their nails because your fingertips were always bleeding. In 4th grade, I spelled my name with an S. Of course, I did it to be more like you. We had the same initials for 3 weeks. Then I got in trouble by my teacher and dad. I hated middle school at the white school with all the white girls always squeezing my cheeks. Your scenes, little sister? No, my name is Cinnamon. But you enjoyed the attention and you loved me until we transferred to the Indian school. And then I became the white girl. You denied me once on the bus after school, I remember. It broke my heart, but I understood because you finally fit in. I love the picture that held your presence in the house, the one on the fridge of you and your shades with that smile, playing the unplugged electric guitar. You returned from summer camp in that Hawaiian shirt. Your style is untouchable, I swear. The reservation had never seen an orange that orange, but you rocked it with confidence and that smile. I'm told now that I'm bubbly, spunky, personable, or whatever. When I hear this, I think you should meet my brother. Put you in a room with the oddest handful of mismatched people, wait 5 minutes, and without a doubt, you'll have everyone laughing. I knew you had swag before I ever knew what it was. But you know, I have to apologize for a few things. Like the time Dad had you in the kitchen, counting piles of beans to teach you multiplication tables. I was 2 grades below you, but I hollered the answer from the living room like a snot. And brother, I'm sorry that our real dad committed suicide on your 5th birthday, so every birthday you ever had could never really be a happy one. And I'm sorry that when Dad got drunk, then we were suddenly stepkids. I'm sorry that you were called fuck up and idiot boy more than seen, but I thank you for making all the mistakes for me to learn from. I'm sorry that you were kicked out of the house before you finished high school. I loved cheerleading for your basketball games, but you quit because Mom and Dad never went to your games ever. You were my role model though, and no matter what happened, You smiled that smile, and I thank you for the strength you had to hold it together. I'm sorry that I wasn't a little bit bigger to save you from it all. It crushed me to see you thrown up against the fridge or kicked in the ass. And as we grew older, the belt and hanger were traded for fists. I know, because I got it too. But no one quite got it as bad as you. Remember those nights we spent on the rooftop under the stars? I thank you for tying the rope around the chimney so we could escape and climb up there together. You're 35 now, with 5 kids from 4 different women. And I admire you for trying to go to college, and I'm happy that you have a job. But I want you to know that just because he told you you were a fuck up doesn't mean you are. And I'm sorry I never said it sooner, but I still look up to you, my hero. The light in you is beautiful. And I ask of you one thing: find the strength to keep it shining, because the world loves it, and your little sister loves you. So that's that. I think in my own personal life, after growing up in that environment, going away to college, coming back home, and connecting spiritually and ceremonially, gave me a lot of strength in my own life to be able to overcome that and find ways of healing that were helpful and healthy. And so after that personal growth, I was able to write this poem. This poem is called Ampewi. So I'm Northern Cheyenne, but I developed culturally and spiritually with my Oglala Lakota relatives in Pine Ridge. So Ampewi is how we say sun in ceremony. So this poem is called Ampewi. Befriend her, they said. She can hurt or help you. Raise hands open, palms up. Love the pain, but long for pity. Be strong. Dance for sickness. Suffer with a smile. Bleed to give thanks. Sweat until you can't. But above all, pray for the people. Cold dirt and dew kiss bare feet before the June sun rises. Cedar smoke purifies, suffocates tired lungs. 4 hard, beautiful days sacrifice the old way. September brings college, clocks, concrete. Prairie breeze traded for painted brick. Noise. Pressure to succeed, achieve. On a bench in the street, watching money creep by, staring. Quick tempo, selfish world, cold shadows so far from home, alone, eyes to the sky, Ampewi, my friend. So that poem was written after a true moment where I really found myself in Hanover, New Hampshire when I was attending Dartmouth College, sitting on a bench. And it was this moment where that world, you know, people say sometimes we live in 2 worlds, but I really don't like that analogy myself. They are very different places to live in, but I don't prescribe to the belief that I'm cut in half when I participate in each world. To me, it's my one world, and it's very dynamic and complicated. But I wrote that poem sitting on a bench in Hanover, and literally I looked to the sun and was reminded that that sun was the same sun I danced with that summer. So even though it felt foreign and strange to be in New Hampshire by myself, the elements, the things beyond the human world are what connect us and keep us grounded. And the sun shined right on me and reminded me that I'm still me, and this world is still my world. So with that, I'm on to my last poem, which is a shorter one and kind of funny. It's called My Friend's First Time on the Res. 800 Indians and 1 white girl packed into the parking lot of the tribal office, waiting for the annual fireworks show. A 3-legged mangy dog with tits to the ground hobbles in front of us. Ew, whose dog is that? nobody's, everybody's. So that's the end of the poem. I think that short poem speaks to the communalism that Natives have. We all take care of one another. We don't own anything. We share everything that we have. And especially right now with COVID-19 running rampant, us needing to stay home, that communalism and tribalism is really what we all need to be showing to one another. So thank you, Dawson, for inviting me to participate today. And I'll hand it back over to you.
All right, awesome. That was pretty dope. So those of y'all just tuning in, that was Cinnamon Kills First. We want to thank you again for tuning in to the Indigenous Peoples Art Gallery and Cafe. If you're just now, going by and checking this out, this is first of many events that we're going to be hosting. The Stay Home Poetry Reading Series is something that we are putting together to help spread that message of doing our part as young people to stay home and try to flatten the curve and give a little bit of help to some of the healthcare workers who are on the front lines taking care of those people who are being affected by this disease or this virus. So we want to thank you for tuning in and for being a part of this unique event. So we got a lot more coming up, so share it with your friends and relatives. Before we get into our last and special performance here, again, I just want to thank everybody who's involved with helping me put this together and organize this event. Everybody for coming through and for stepping up and being a part of this and being, here for me to do this and to share your words, because that's what this is all really about, is highlighting y'all and putting you out there and giving you a space to do your thing. So before I get into our last performance here, I want to just share this poem that I wrote. It's very quick, very short. From the time we took out mammoths and giants, we always been defiant about our lands, our ways, and still today we strive to pass on the wooden bowls we eat from, the wooden spoons carved from centuries of knowledge. We teach our children of the hatred and carnage that fell upon our people and how we still here, eating from our wooden bowls, our women still humming our songs and our chants still being sung, fire still lit with flint, hands still beating the patterns mothers have used when we danced for plants and paid homage to the waters that bathed our sons and daughters in the womb of worlds and prayer. Awesome. So that was a little poem I wrote a while back for some things that we were doing up in Iowa City. Again, go Hawks. But before we get into our last and final performance, I can't thank everybody enough for just being a part of this. If I could, I would, definitely show you all my love. But again, this is really just kicking back and watching you guys do your thing is really awesome. So for those that are tuning in, you're missing out. Share with your friends and your people. We're gonna have some more events coming up. So I'm gonna introduce our last and final performance for the night. Koli is a descendant of the Hupa, Yurok, and Kurok tribes of Northern California. Koli's warm personality shines through her songs. Koli creatively engages the listener by braiding together catchy tunes, intriguing metaphors, and unique timing. Blending her clear voice with the harmonious sounds of ukulele, guitar, and piano, Koli burns across the lines of pop, country, and folk. Koli began her songwriting career at age 8 when Native News awarded her Native Voice of the Future for her song, Christopher Columbus with the Big Butt. Known for its great hook and listeners of all ages, she performed regularly at Hawaiian Brian's when she attended the University of Hawaii and open mics across the country. and the world. She has performed across the country in Nashville and around the Bay Area. Koli's most recent audience are the special education students whom she has taught for the last several years at Oakland High in California. So without further ado, I introduce Koli.
Yay! Thank you so much, Dawson. I'm so honored to be a part of this. This was so awesome. Everyone, all of the poems and poetry was just beautiful and amazing. The rap, it was awesome. This has just been a really great time. So thank you, Dawson. I want to, of course, acknowledge the land that I'm on. I flew back from Nashville for this whole coronavirus thing to Northern California, which is why it's sunny here. And I just want to acknowledge the land that I'm on. I'm on Maidu and Nishanan land. So I appreciate being on this beautiful land and having the opportunity to sing some songs. So I'm going to sing, this is one of my most recent songs that I've written, and it talks about missing and murdered Indigenous women and how that's a huge issue in all of our tribes. And so this is Have You Seen My Sister? She's just 3 years older than me. She's smarter and taller than me. One hell of a fighter. She told me that 83% of women like us experience violence. I wanted to cry, so I never saw it coming. She didn't come back in the morning, and the news wouldn't even mention her that night. Now all that I am left of her is a red ribbon dress she wore to dance on the land to the drum, hand in hand. Oh, all that I can think about, I cry, I swear, I scream, I shout. Her name is added to the missing person list. Another woman, Indigenous. I'm not gonna stop till I find her. Have you seen my sister? Bruises and clues lead to another open investigation. No information on that guy. Bruises and clues lead to a dead-end road. I know how the story goes on genocide. Now all that I am left of her is a red ribbon dress she wore to dance on the land to the drum, hand in hand. Oh, all that I can think about, I cry, I swear, I scream, I shout. Her name is added to the missing person list. Another woman, Indigenous. I'm not gonna stop until I find her. Have you seen my sister? Oh, oh, have you seen my sister? What do I have to do? Help us see the truth about our mothers, cousins, and lovers lost in every tribe. Now all that I have left of her is a red ribbon dress she wore. Oh, and all that I can think about, I cry, I swear, I scream, I shout. Her name is added to the missing person list. Another woman, Indigenous. I'm not gonna stop till I find her. Have you seen my sister? Thank Thank you. I'm going to switch instruments now and play one of my older songs, way older songs. So I had the opportunity to go to College Horizons when I was a junior and senior in high school to help me apply for colleges. And that's why I chose University of Hawaii, my first place. They flew me out to Hawaii to go there. So I wrote this song. Yay, College Horizons. Love that. So I wrote this song for the culture night. I kind of was conflicted about what to sing that also showcased that I was the songwriter, because I feel like, as Native people, we tell stories through our music. And so I wanted to kind of write my conflict. And when you write college essays, all of these emotions come up. So this is called How I Am. If the mirror should fall, maybe superstition better than reality. And if the stereotypes faded, would there be equality? I'm not trying to rewrite John Lennon's words. I'm just trying to point out the flaws in our worlds. Why do I have to justify me? Tired of the questions. Like raise a feather in your hair. Can't I be accepted like my sister who's not as fair? Why do I have to fit the image to be proud of my heritage? I don't understand. Can't I just be how I am? So my European highlights cover up my native side. Naturally, I'm judged when I show my native pride. I'm involved with my tribe, though my hair is not dark but light. Why should it matter what we look alike? Tired of questions like, where's the feather in your hair? Can't I be accepted like my sister who's not as pale? Why do I have to fit the image to be proud of my heritage? I don't understand. Can't I just be how I am? How I am. Thank you. I actually just released my album a year ago, and that is the title track, and it's also on there. So if you want to listen to that, you can. And I'm gonna actually call on my sister, who was at Standing Rock with me when I met you, Dawson. Yay! So full circle. And she's going to sing. We're actually gonna sing a Eulali song because we grew up singing Eulali songs and we love all other songs, but we thought this one would be a cool one to sing. Maybe you should sit back. Can they see you? I don't know if they can see your head. Okay, yay. So this is Museum Cases. Okay. I saw them lying, stacked high on shelves, cardboard boxed and labeled. Skeleton mother holds her embedded child. I uncovered no blankets, no nothing, just how I was looking at myself, buried alive. Terry donations, government, research, science, churches, and museums. I was looking at myself, buried alive. I am my ancestors, my mother's stolen grave. Wipe my face off the right to live in this land creation gave you. Still take you, 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 still take. Bum 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 bum, bum 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 bum, bum 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 bum, bum 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 bum. Sterilized women who cannot give birth. Strip my womb of mother of. Remove my future, leaving no trace to say that I'm a non-existent race. Yeah, I cannot claim from where I came. You hid the truth, no guilt, no shame. I cannot claim from where I came. You hid the truth, no guilt, no shame. Exploitation, anthropology, excavation, you call it state property, and provisional living. How can money justify your greed to disguise what is truly genocide? I cannot claim from where I came. You hid the truth. No guilt, no shame. Whoa.
Thank you, Dawson, for having us.
Thank you so much.
All right, there you have it, Koli and Carly. That was pretty dope. That was awesome. Thank you again for doing that and blessing us with your vocals. That was pretty awesome. So again, I want to just kind of conclude this event just by thanking every one of the artists for being a part of this, for doing this, and for helping me try to get this vision out of what I wanted to do with this art gallery and cafe. Something I've been really working on and I've been passionate about. So please stay tuned and stay updated for a lot of the things that we got coming up. We'll have some art auctions, some art live paintings and other things going on. So we'll have some more poetry readings, some more Indigenous artists coming up. So be sure to tell your friends and share the page with everybody because we got a lot of things coming out. Again, I just wanted to stress and reiterate the message of staying home, taking care of yourself and your relatives, your elders, your young children, and do our part just by staying home and trying to flatten that curve because there's healthcare workers out there are really struggling. They're not getting that much help. And, you know, as Native communities out there, we don't always get all of the support that we need to deal with these things like this. So something simple is just staying home. So every Saturday night, I'm gonna bring an event, poetry and some music. So we can all just kick back and relax and enjoy some stories and poetry from some really dope Native artists. So again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in. Thank you, Sarah and the Midwest Writing Center for partnering with me on this. And again, there you have it. Thank you, Valerie, Talon, Sarah, Cinnamon, and Koli and Carly. There you go. Stay home poetry reading series. Have a good night.